शिवाचार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपते बकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना। भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्गिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवत रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रम् अकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। वन्दे वृन्दावनचरं वल्लवी जनवल्लभं जयन्ती सम्भवन्धाम वैजयन्ती विभूषणम्। आम्नाय गन्धर्वितस्फुरितादरोष्ठम् आत्स्ला विलक्षणमनुक्षतमन्दहासं गोपालडिम्बवपुषं कुहनाजनन्याः प्राणस्य नन्दनमवैनि परं पुमांसम्। आविर्भवत्य निभृताभरणं पुरस्तात् आकुञ्चितैकचरणं निभृतान्यपादं दध्ना निमन्तमुखरेण निबद्धताळं नाथस्य नन्दभवने नवनीतनाट्यम्। हर्तुं कुम्भे विनिहितकरः स्वादुभय्यङ्गवीणं दृष्ट्वा दाम ग्रहणचटुलां मातरं जातरोषां पायादीशतुः प्रचलितपदः नापगच्छन् न तिष्ठन् मिथ्या गोपः सपदि नयने नीलयन् विश्वगोप्ता। Those of you who can manage to sit down can come and leave the chairs for the elders who are standing in the back. Those of you who can sit. सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमिदं कालदेशावधिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः ऊरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे। हन्तभाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडकरकलायावळी लोभनीयं पीयूषाप्लावितोऽहं तदनु तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशं तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च। बाहुद्वन्द्वेन रत्नोज्ज्वलवलयभृता शोणपाणिप्रवाळैनौपता प्रसृतनखमयूकाङ्गुलीं सङ्गशाखां कृत्वा वक्त्रारविन्दे सुमधुरविकसद्रागम् उद्भाव्यमानैः शब्दब्रह्मामृतैः त्वं शिशिरितभुवनैः सिञ्च सिञ्च मे कर्णवीथीं योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसु मधुरं मुक्तिभाजामि वासो नित्यं चित्तस्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्णा कारुण्यसिन्धो कृष्णा कारुण्यसिन्धो कृत्वा निशेषतापान् प्रतिशतु परमानन्द सन्दोहलक्ष्मी प्रतिशतु परमानन्द सन्दोहलक्ष्मी अज्ञात्वा ते महत्त्वं यदिह निगदितं विश्वनाथ क्षमेथः स्तोत्रं चैतत् सहस्रोत्तरम् अधिकतरं त्वत्प्रसादाभिभूयात् वेधा नारायणीयं श्रुतिषु च जनुषस्तुत्यता वर्णनेन स्वीतं लीलावतारैः इहमिह कुरुताम् आयुः आरोग्यसौख्यम् आयुः आरोग्यसौख्यम्. A very good evening to be gathering here at the sacred premises of Sri Krishna Balarama temple. It is a pleasure for me to perform on a topic which is very close to the hearts of devotees, which is very close to the hearts of all our acharyas, be it Adi Shankara, Madhva or Bhagavad Ramanuja, and very, very close to the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this lecture, which is scheduled to happen for 4 days in this temple, and the 5th day for an hour or so at the Livermore temple, will have topics from Dashama Skandam, Ekadasha Skandam and half of Dwadasha Skandam. So 2.5 cantos have been dedicated in Srimad Bhagavatam to Krishna Avataram. 1. Second, it will also suitably intersperse verses from Yadavabhyudayam, which is a monumental work in Sanskritam by none other than the poet and Acharya par excellence Swami Vedanta Deshika, which has been beautifully commented upon in Sanskrit by a great Shaivite and an Advaiti called Appaya Dikshita. So a combination of the work and its commentary should determine the secular nature of our philosophers in India, and it will also combine verses from Srimad Narayaniyam, which is another monumental work in the 17th century, the 16th and the 17th century, by none other than Narayana Bhattatri of Melpattur. It will also have little kritis of Uttukadu, Tyagaraja, Dikshitar, Narayana Tirthar, Krishna Karnamritam by Leela Shuka, and so on. Now, there's a tradition in speaking on Sri Krishna Charitram. We start with Krishna Jananam and we conclude it with Rukmini Kalyanam. That's the way, because we Indians generally want everything to end in that Shubham, Vanakkam, happy note. So we conclude it with Rukmini Kalyanam. But what transpired after Rukmini Kalyanam will come on the 4th day. But this Rukmini Kalyanam, a control X and a control V will be performed on the last day. So we'll paste it at the end. So that's going to happen in the Livermore temple. The first 4 days will happen here. In Srimad Bhagavatam, those of you who could manage to attend the lecture on Sunday, which I performed for SIFA at the CET Theatre, will know that we spoke very briefly about Parikshit Chakravarti. So, if I have to give a very brief about this incident in Srimad Bhagavatam, it starts with Drauni. Who is Drauni? Drona's son is referred to as Drauni. So Dronam itself means half a measure. So if I have to use the regional word, kaapudinu solluvom, yeah. When we measure any grains, be it rice or wheat, we take a measure. That's called Dronam. and half of it is called Shivam. So Dronam is a vessel where you measure. Since this child could not be conceived naturally by the mother, he was a test tube baby. So since he was conceived in a Dronam, he was called Drona. And Drona's son Ashwathama is referred to as Drauni. So this Ashwathama was a very, very arrogant son of Drona. But Drona always used to defend his son. Very natural for any parent. So he always used to defend his son. And it so happened that the son who was arrogant had to add a tinge of anger because his father was not killed in the right means during Mahabharata Yuddham. You will know that Drona never used to get tired, no fatigue. He doesn't have to take any supplements, no tablets, nothing. Very, very fresh. When we start the lecture, I have noticed with the little experience I've got, people will be after 1 hour it will become. If you give something, you will hit the speaker. So that is the range of gunams that go. Sattva, Rajo, Tamo Gunam. You don't have to wait for various periods of time in your life. Just in 2 hours, both the speaker and the audience will be able to witness. That's because our body undergoes strain. So the very strain causes fatigue, which never used to occur for Drona. So Drona never used to get fatigue, but his limitation, Krishna did a SWOT analysis. He came to know that the weakness of Drona was his son. So he optimized the weakness and the strength. Strength is never he will get fatigue. Weakness is he loves his son. So the optimized answer that came was, if something happens to his son, he will get fatigue. So that is when he used Bhima to hit upon an elephant called Ashwathama, asked Yudhishthira to announce in the war field that the elephant called Ashwathama was dead. He just said, convey this information, but convey it in the way I say. Convey the information that Ashwathama is dead, the elephant. Ashwathama hataha kunjaraha, you should say. Krishna thought this is a fair proposal. Ashwathama hataha, Ashwathama is dead, he said. These words were heard by Drona. When he was to say the elephant, kunjaraha, Krishna blew the conch. So that word alone was not heard by Drona. So he got tired, he sat on the battlefield. The warrior who was born, who was meant, who was worshipped to kill Drona was Drupada's son called as Drishtadyumna. So he came and chopped off the head of Drona, which was noticed by Drona's son Drauni Ashwathama. He wanted to avenge the death of his father. So that is when the Mahabharata Yuddham was coming to a conclusion, he walked by a tent in the night and soldiers commented, 5 of them are sleeping. He thought the 5 Pandavas are sleeping and he hit upon 5 arrows while they were sleeping and they were all dead. Next day when he read the newspaper, he came to know that the 5 children of 5 Pandavas were dead. So he thought, when I started killing that generation, let me go 1 generation ahead and I will kill the fetus which is inside the womb of Uttara, who is the wife of Abhimanyu, son of Arjuna. So that is when he shoots Aishikam. That's the process of converting any object you find into an astram was a technique called Aishikam in those days. So great people used to take that elective course and they used to study Aishikam. So with this Aishikam, that is why Rama, when the son of Indra called Kaka comes and hurts Sita, he doesn't go inside to get the bow and quiver of arrows. He plucks a blade of grass and does Brahmastramanta Ucharanam and leaves it. Vallavanukku pullum ayudham. For the one who is adept in warfare, even a blade of grass can be an astram in the need of hour, is the old saying. So he shot at the crow. Here, what this Ashwathama did, he took one Aishikam, a blade of grass, and made it Aishikam and programmed it to go and hit the fetus of the child. That is when the 4 mothers, that is the mother to the fetus called Uttara, Uttara's mother-in-law Subhadra, Subhadra's co-wife Draupadi, their mother-in-law Kunti. 4 women seek the intervention of Krishna. That is when Krishna comes and he goes around the fetus. This child, which is inside the fetus, now wonders who is going around him. There is an amnion, chorion and a placenta, right? The child is amidst the amniotic fluid. So the child keeps looking around. Who is there? His encroachment started coming here also. Somebody is barging here. So he started looking around. Pari means around. Ikshate means to see. Since Pari Ikshate, since he saw around, he was called Parikshit. So this child started looking around. Krishna went around and the child was protected, tells Bhagavatam. But Mahabharatam gives a slightly different approach. The child who was protected by the Lord was born, but he was still born like a piece of wood or a piece of coal with no life. That is when the mother requested, is there somebody to protect my child? That is when they heard an Ashariri Vak. Shariram, body. Shariri, the one who owns it. Ashariri, the one where you can't see the body but you can hear the audio, the voice alone. Ashariri Vak. The Ashariri Vak said, the one who has never lied in his life, the one who is a brahmachari, that person who suffices these two conditions, when he touches upon this child will turn into a living child. Rishis had gathered there, Vyasa, Vishwamitra, Vasishta, Javali, Kashyapa, Atri, many rishis, they all lived for a very long period of time, they were all there. Now each of them refused to touch their child. You should understand their situation. Now if they touch the child and the child doesn't come back to life, it will raise question on their status of celibacy at times. It could raise a question on their honesty. So they said, today I have vowed not to touch any child. And they left. This is called escape. So they all went. The person who was standing last in the row was Krishna. But it is a world known fact that he might not suffice any of these two conditions even in iota. Because Andal mentions, Malai Piranda Nambiyai, Male Sheyum Manadanai, Yela Puigal Uraipanai, Inge Poda Kandire. If one were to list down the lies that one can utter in one's lifetime, the entire list of lies, if one can utter all the lies, is there one? If there is a question, Krishna alone has the ability to utter all these lies. Yela Puigal Uraipanai. So now that we know that the first condition doesn't meet Krishna's standards. Second, brahmachari. In Krishna's time it was a ration book. Rukmini, Krishna. Satyabhama, Krishna. Jambavati, Krishna. Mitravinda, Krishna. Satya, Krishna. 16,108. It was like one big book. So the second condition of brahmacharitvam also doesn't suffice. But Uttara did not want to hurt Krishna. He is very close to them. So he said, Krishna, you also check. She was 200% sure that this child can never come back to. Can you just move forward because there are people joining us? Yeah. And if you can just leave little space there so that people who come for darshan alone can have a darshan and go. If you are finding it tough to look, just close your eyes and listen. Some people say, so that used to be the statement for many musicians, but now for Upanyasakas also it has become a statement. This is on a lighter vein. So, here, Krishna was not to be hurt. This was their intention. So, Uttara gave the child to Krishna. That is when Krishna tells him Mahabharatam. Yedine brahmacharyam syad satyam cham avyahatam yena jivatu balakaha. If I have always spoken the truth and if I am a brahmachari, let this child, which is like a piece of wood, come back to life. And the child started crying. This was a pariksha to the Lord. So this child was called Parikshit, second derivation. But how come? Just now I said he is right. But remember the lies he has said. The next door Pankajam Mami came and complained. He stole the butter in my house. Krishna said, I did not steal your butter. So his point was, I did not steal the process, the verb, your, which is a relative pronoun there, butter, which is a common noun. So I did not take any of this. Why? Because if we believe that the world was created by him, the Pankajam Mami and her cow shed was also created by him. The cow was also of him. The one who made the cow secrete milk is him. The one who converted the milk to curd is him. The one who made the person extract butter out of the curd is him. So the curd ultimately does not belong to Pankajam, it belongs to him. So he said, I did not steal your butter. So our conceived notion that he is the one who lied or stole is not right. Second, Brahmachari, how do we agree? See, remember this very well. We have 4 ashramams: Brahmachari, Grihastham, Vanaprastham, Sannyasam. These are the 4 stages, and they are progressive in nature. They are not reversible. In chemical reactions, you have got reversible reaction. From sannyasi, you cannot get back to Grihastha ashramam. I don't like sannyasam. Now I will get married in our This is one-way path, single-way reaction. But between Brahmachari and Grihastha, there is a slight understanding that we need. We believe that the person who is not married is Brahmachari, the person who is married is Grihastha. To some extent it is right, to some extent it is wrong. Because after marriage, when your status changes from Brahmachari to Grihastha, on certain days, when the Shastras have ordained not to have a relationship with the wife, if you continue to follow those lines on certain days, then you are called a Brahmachari too. Remember that. Remember this one more point which I state. It will be a surprise. Many people will, it will be thrilling than the last ball of Virat Kohli. Very, very thrilling it will be. Bhishmacharya was a Grihastha. Remember this. Bhishmacharya in Mahabharatam is a Grihastha. Because when he promises for the sake of his father Shantanu to marry the lady called as Satyavati, who was a Matsya Gandhi, in order to get his father married to that lady, he promises to Satyavati's father, from today onwards I will be a Brahmachari. See, if he was a Brahmachari before, he should say, I will continue being a Brahmachari. You might say, it's a slop of the thing, sir. So, he would have done a mistake. But Bhishmacharya cannot afford to do. He has some Bhishma Stuti and Vishnu Sahasranam. So he cannot afford to do. He said, from today I will be a Brahmachari. Point number 1. Second point, he had his poonal, which is the sacred thread, from 3 strand to 6 strand, because only Grihastha can have 6 strands. And only he can wear a kacham. Then what is the meaning? After a Brahmachari learns, when he passes through his education, there is one ceremony called Samavartanam which is performed in Veda. So he will be given a ceremonial bath. Then he can wear the 6-strand poonal and he can wear the kacham, and he has to either take up Grihasthashram or Sannyasam. You have to take one path. 2 roads diverge in a yellow wood it is very applicable here of Robert Frost. You have to take one path. Whether it is more travelled by or less travelled by, it doesn't matter. So you have to either become a Grihastha or you have to become a Sannyasi. He did not become a Sannyasi. Because a Sannyasi cannot come and fight. Sannyasi so he cannot. That is why Paramacharya wrote, Yuddham tyajata spardham tyajata. Sannyasi will write that. But Bhishmacharya did not become a sannyasi. So the only route he must have taken was to become a Grihastha. Tells Kumarila Bhatta in his Sanskrita commentary, Bhagavad Ramanuja endorses this in Sri Bhashyam. That is why only a married man can perform Agni Gotram called Treta Agni. In those days, a married man who performs that yagam, that fire which comes from that, should alone be used for burning his body. So in Mahabharatam, Krishna tells Yudhishthira, go get the Agni from the Treta Agni which Bhishma performed. So remember this point, that We know he is a brahmachari because he promised from today I will be a brahmachari. From that day he lived like a brahmachari. But he was a grihastha before. Krishna, who is known to be a grihastha, abstained from physical relationship on certain days, so he was a brahmachari. So this child came back to life. Remember this point very well. For remembering, the best way is to either listen passionately or write it down. One of the two. Or like the great Sishya of Ramanuja called Kuresha or Kurat Talma, Eka Santagrahi. If we listen once, we should remember. So, that is why Parikshit asks in Bhagavatam. His question was, Draunasya vitplushtamidam madangam santana bijam kuru pandavanam jugoba kukshim gadiyata chakraha matuscha mega sharanam gatayaha. Hey Shuka, tell me the one who protected me. See, he will have some gratitude, right? Whether he has gratitude towards Vamana, Nrisimha, Varaha, that is different, that is devotion. But towards Krishna, he had gratitude because he is the one who gave him life. Draunasya viplushta midam madangam santana bijam kurupandavanam jugoba kukshim gadiyata chakraha matuschamaya sharanam gatayaha. So he asks, Shuka Brahman tells introduction in Bhagavatam, 12 cantos are there. First 9 cantos talk about Devahuti Prashnam to Kapila, how the world was created, Prithu Charitram, Dakshayagam, Ambarisha Charitram, Varahavatam, Nrisimhavataram, Vamanavataram, Parshuramavataram, even Ramavataram comes in 9th canto. All these avatars come in first 9 cantos. But our Purvacharyas have said in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first 9 cantos is introduction. 10th and 11th and 12th cantos, the central part. This is what they all have unanimously stated. You may ask, can the introduction be this long? Isn't this lecture a better example? I have not yet gone into Krishna Charitram. The introduction itself is so long. So he desired to know the quintessence of Krishna avatar. That is when Shuka Brahman starts. He tells your mother is Uttara. So he knows his mother's name is Uttara. How will he not know his name, mother's name is Uttara? What he meant was, remember this very well. The word Uttara means the one who is at a very elevated, high level. Superior lady is called Uttara. When the Lord was conceived by Kaushalya in Ramavataram, she conceived the Lord himself. But she was not called Uttara, superior one. Krishna was conceived by Devaki in Dwapara Yugam. She was not called Uttara. So when Bhagavan was conceived as Rama and Krishna, the mothers were not called Uttara. Go to the other side, flip side. His devotees. Take for example Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada, who was born in Kaladi in Kerala. His mother was Aryamba. She conceived him. In 32 years he made magic. But his mother was not called Uttara. Jagadacharya Bhagavat Ramanuja, the best ever known first social reformer in this world, was Ramanuja. But his mother Kantimati was not called Uttara. So, if the Lord was conceived as Rama and Krishna, their mothers were not called Uttara. When the Lord's devotees like Ramanuja and Shankara were conceived, their mothers was not called Uttara. But Parikshit's mother is called Uttara. Why? Because when Parikshit, the great recipient of Srimad Bhagavatam, was inside his mother's womb, the Lord came around. So, at one point in time, Uttara carried both Bhagavan and Bhagavatam. So she is called Uttara, tells Shastra. She carried both at the same time. Nobody else had this unique bhagya. Sumitra had Lakshmana Shatrughna, but both were Bhagavatas. A judicious combination of the Lord and his devotees. The God and humanity came together in Parikshit's birth. So he desired to know, because he was cursed that he will die in 7 days by a poisonous snake called as Takshaka. So, that very moment, he wanted to understand. Shuka Brahman came and started detailing. That is when he starts Krishna Avatar. Bhumi Devi goes as a Pashu, a cow before Brahma. Why should Bhumi go as cow? In most of the Puranic stories, you will notice that when Mother Earth has a request, she will go in the form of a cow. We don't know why. Because a cow is treated like a mother for us because she gives us milk. Or Mother Earth is also mother, cow is also mother, she went as a cow. That is a different, if somebody has that time, please do research on that and tell us, I will tell in the next lecture. But she goes as a cow. When she goes as a cow, because Prithu Chakravarti, you know Krishna is called as Partha Sarathi. Partha Sarathi. Why is he called Partha Sarathi? Sarathi means he is the charioteer to whom Partha is Arjuna. But Partha technically means the son of Pritha. Pritha's son is called Partha. So it can mean for Yudhishthira, it can mean for...
First chapter, text number 36. Given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Recorded on July 26, 1973 in London.
So, here we have... So Partha means the son of Pritha. So technically it can also apply to Yudhishthira and Bhima because they were all the sons of Pritha. But in certain cases, common noun will become proper noun. Pritha, son, Partha is a common noun. It can apply to any of the three. But Arjuna was the most famous amongst them. So it applied to him. Partha means Arjuna. Sarathi means the charioteer. Why is he called Partha? Because he is the son of Kunti called Pritha. Why is she called Pritha? Because she came in the clan of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is called Prithvi. Why is she called Prithvi? Because there was a king called Prithu who churned various forms of wealth from Mother Earth who came as a cow. So she is called Prithvi. Prithu Chakravarti churned Mother Earth as a cow, hence she is called Prithvi. In the clan of Prithvi came Kunti, so she is called Pritha. The son of Pritha is Arjuna, who is called Partha. The Sarathi to Partha is Partha Sarathi. So this Partha Sarathi, this Krishna, once he was in Vaikuntham, that is when Bhumi Devi came as a cow, and she pleaded. She started crying. She said, lot of burden on earth. There are people who are not following Shastram. She said, then itself. So that is when the Lord opened his eyes. He just opened. Amma malarkan valaginnane yennan sheyene tells Alva. He just opened his eyes. Gambhiramba samudbhuta sumrishtanada ravikara vikasita pundalikadana amala ayatekshanaha. Bhagavad Ramanuja describes the Lord's eyes. You should not say beautiful eyes, it seems. You should tell Gambhiramba Samudbhuta Sumrishtanada Ravikara Vikasita Pundalikadada Amala Ayatekshanaha. This is how you should describe his eyes. That means his eyes are akin to the freshly blossomed lotus which has got a long stalk which is stationed in a pond which has cool waters, and the lotus blossoms upon receiving the first rays of the rising sun in the morning. Likewise his eyes are Gambhira Ambuta Sumrishtanada Ravikara Vikasita Pundarikadada Amala Ayatekshanaha. So he opened such eyes. When he opened, Bhumi Devi, who came as a cow, her left limb started throbbing. Remember this in Shakuna Shastram. For women, if the left hand side throbs, be it the eye, hand or the leg, it is a sign of good woman. It may, you will be in the last 10 minutes of the Upanyasam. For the men it throbs, then you are in the first 10 minutes of the Upanyasam. How do we understand this in Srimad Ramayanam? Rama meets Sugriva. Rama tells, my wife is missing. Sugriva tells, oh very good, even my wife is also missing. So that is when Rama thought, in your tough times, you will have to have a correlation with unequal partners. So, he said, I will help in rescuing your wife Ruma from the clutches of your brother Vali. In return, you should give me your monkey army rescuing Sita from Lanka. Will you agree? They agreed. They held their hands and went around the fire. That is when Valmiki gives a beautiful shlokam. Sita kapindraha kshanada charanam Rajiva hemojvala nopamani Sugriva rama pranayah prasange Vamani netrani samam spuranti. Vamam is left, Dakshinam is right. Dakshinam also means south. Dakshina means peace. So Dakshinam is right, Vamam is left. So Vamani netrani samam spuranti. When Rama and Sugriva agreed upon rescuing each other's wives and went around the fire, what was the immediate effect? Sita kapindraha kshanadacharanam. Sita, Kapindraha, who is Vali, Kshanadacharanam, who is Ravana. Rajiva, Hema, Ujjvala, na Upamani. Their eyes were like that of a freshly blossomed lotus. Hema, gold, Ujjvala, fire, na Upamani. But when they went around the fire, all their left eyes throbbed simultaneously, tells Valmiki, because when Rama had vowed to kill Vali, for Vali it is Dushakunam, so his left eye throbbed. If Vali would be killed, then Ravana would also be consequentially killed. So his left eye throbbed. If Ravana would be killed, Sita will be rescued, so her left eye throbbed. Here we have Bhumi Devi, whose left limb is throbbing. Praspurantam priyasyeva parirambha vilashinam Dakshinaditaram bahum Dakshina bhakva manyata. That is when the Lord comes and tells Abhayam, don't worry. Bhayam is fear. Abhayam means don't fear. So that is, this mudra is called Abhayam, don't worry, don't worry. What do you mean Abhayam? If you ask something and I have to grant, I will grant like this. So this is called Varada Hastam. This is called Abhaya Hastam. So he tells, Avatarya bhuvo bharam avataro mamamaraha anadinidhanam dharmam akshatam sthapayishyati. Don't worry, I will be born to establish dharmam, tells the Lord. So the story is working. Why are you reciting the verses? Remember, reciting the verses is more important than the story. Because I have combined Bhagavatam, I have combined Mahabharatam, so many verses. Mahabharatam verses, if you listen, Vyasa gives one phalan. If you listen to one shloka of Mahabharatam, at least one shloka, it is equivalent to giving 100 nourished cows with horns that have golden bells at the top as dhanam. Yogo shatam kanakashringa mayam dadhati Vipraya Veda Vidushecha Bahushrutaya Punyamscha Bharata Katham Shruniyamscha Nityam Tulyam Bhavati Tasya Chaiva, tells Vyasa. So you can all confidently go and say that I have given 100 cows in Dhanam today, because you have heard verses from Mahabharatam and Bhagavatam. So Krishna tells, don't worry, Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyaha. Don't worry, Bhumi, you are my dear wife, so I will be born. Don't worry. On the other hand, he has to be born. Now the Lord has to choose. That's the difference, tells Krishna to Arjuna. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. And he tells Arjuna, you know, both of us are common in one aspect. When we want to hear that commonness between us and the Lord, similarity, we'll be eager. He tells, Bahuni me vyatitani. Many janmas have happened for you, and many janmas have happened for me. Children will generally use same pinch. That is when Krishna said, don't give us same pinch. Similarity exists. Both of us have many janmas. But there is one major difference. You remember none of them, whereas I remember all of them. Because your janmas are Purva janmas. For me, they are Purva avatarams. I remember everything. You remember nothing. That is true. What we hear today also we will not remember tomorrow. Simply if I tell the same thing, in many places it is like engineering semester pattern. So you learn 6 subjects this semester, next semester you start fresh and you can forget what you have learned before. So Krishna has to choose. Now he has to choose, like in Ramavataram, Pitaram Rochayamasa Tatha Dasharatham Nripam. He chose that Dasharatha should be his father. Now he has to choose someone. Now he is thinking what to do. He is setting up parameters. These are the parameters for my father. See what the Lord, it is totally reversed in the Lord. He can choose his father. It is not the case with us. Whether we like him or not, he is our father. Whether we like her or not, she is our mother. Whether they like us or not, we are their children. So we have to live together in harmony, no other goal. But whereas the Lord chooses. How did he choose? For that, there was a king called Shurasena. He was called Ugrasena. Pale Ugrasena, but very, very, very soft. Ugrasena, the Shanta Sena. So, Rajadhani Tadassa Bhut Sarvayadava Bhupasham Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannito Harihi. So that king had many daughters. First daughter, he got her married to one king, neighboring king called as Anaka Dundubi. Anaka Dundubi. Who is this Anaka Dundubi? Anaka Dundubi is the registered name of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the Daknam. If you go to Bengal, there are Daknam. What is your Daknam? So it's a Daknam, pet name. Registered name is Anaka Dundubi. Why is he called Anaka Dundubi? Because when this child was born, when Vasudeva was born to his parents, the celestials beat the kettle drums. Anakam and Dundubi. They are two vadyams. They hit the drums in order to declare that the Lord is going to be born to this child. In Tamil there is a saying, Poovudan sherdu narum manakkum. If you tie fragrant flowers to a string, and when you take the flowers after some point in time, the string will also smell. Though it doesn't have a fragrance of its own, it attaches a fragrance of the flower to itself. Likewise, Vasudeva had the significance of being the father to Krishna. So the celestials bet upon the drum called as Anakam and Dundubi. Since those vadyams were heard during the child's birth, he was called Anaka Dundubi. Uttukadu Venkata Subbaiyer mentions Hari Hari Madhava Madhusudhana Jaya Anaka Dundubi Yapate Chandrakatavana Mala Sudarshana Dharana Tarunakara Dvarase Chala Chala Nayana, tells Uttukadu Subbaiyer. So this person was married to the first daughter of Shurasena. He noticed how is the new son-in-law. That is one big experiment. So the first son-in-law turned out to be a good man. Now the second daughter was of marriageable age. He thought, why should I go for some external person? I will offer my second daughter also to the first son-in-law. So like this he offered 7 daughters. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 offer. In Adi Masam we just give 1 plus 1 offer. That time we give 1 plus 6 offer. 7 girls were married to Anaka Dundubi. But all of them were happy. They all said he is a very nice man. They all gave good certificate about their husband. Now the 8th daughter came of marriageable age. Her name was Devaki. Whom to give her in marriage to? He thought, as you shall follow the tried and tested method, give it to Anaka Dundubi, Vasudeva. So but this Devaki was liked very much by her brother called as Kamsa. Kamsa was a tyrant king. Everybody used to tremble. He used to go to collect mamul from markets. People trembled, but still he liked his sister. There is one typical phrase in Tamil, Pasamalar sister. So he used to like his sister. So one day before their marriage, they were to go on a Janavasa Urgolam. Janu in Sanskritam means the portion till the knee. So that's called Janu. A in Sanskritam is not only a letter, it also means in excess. If something is in excess, you tell A. So A Janu means the one whose hands stretch or are in excess than the Janu. So Rama was a great warrior. See, in those days, you will remember in police recruitment in India, they will take inch tape and they will measure chest during the recruitment. After that it will exponentially grow. So they will measure. So in those days, if you are a good warrior, your hands have to be in excess than Janu. So that is why Rama is mentioned as Janu Bahum. But at the same time, he knows how to be soft. Aravinda Nalaya Taksham. He was a judicious combination of beauty and valor. So, here, Janu is this portion. If you gift the prospect son-in-law some attire which is longer than the Janu, that function is Janu Vasam, which is Jana Vasam. So, Jana Vasam, generally the girl and the boy will be seated in one ambassador car. Many roses will be stuck with sellotape. And many mommies will be walking with badam plate before. This is the Janavasam that slowly the car will be going to the sound of Nadaswaram. Right? This is what we have understood of Janavasam. These days I give lectures in marriages. People have taken this ritual of Janavasam. They don't do it because in Bangalore, in Outer Ring Road, every day you go to Janavasam. Slowly the car goes. So you don't have to celebrate an event for that. I was in LA 3 days back. 2 hours lecture, 4 hours travel. So, here the Janavasam was being performed. That is when Kamsa said, I will drive a chariot for my dear sister. Kaivisamma, Kaivisi sister. So he sat and he started riding. That is when the Ashari came and said, you fool! Nobody looked back except Kamsa. He knew what his innate name was. Patikragraginam Kamsa Mabhashya Hara Shariri Bhag Asyatvam Ashtamo Garbhaha Hantayam Bahase Buddha. The one whom you are celebrating and carrying in the Ratham, her 8th Garbham will be the cause of your death. Till now he was telling, my dear sister, what can I buy for you, this and that. He immediately took the sword from the scabbard, pulled her hair and was about to kill her. That is when Vasudeva intervened. He said, what is this? We are just going to get married. We may choose to have children or not. Then we may stop with one. Namiruvar Namakkuruvar. Namiruvar Namakiruvar. We may stop with 2. Why will we go till the 8th? And don't worry, even if we go, I will assure you that I will give you the child. Every time it is born, don't kill her, she is your sister. Remember Kamsa, that Atma is Nityam, Shariram is Anityam. Atma is eternal, Shariram is not eternal. Atma will keep on going body after body, but this material body, mortal body will perish. This was noted by Krishna. He is in Vaikuntha. He is now choosing who should be his father. He chose, this person should be my father. Because when Kauravas and Pandavas were in a tense state, what is going to happen? Elephants were gathered from Mudumalai. Horses had come from Arabia. Chariots were designed. All the astrams were ready. They were all ready. 1, 2, 3, go! They will start fighting. Both the 11 Akshaurini Sainyams and the 7. At that point in time, coolly, Arjuna is telling, I will not fight. And Krishna tells, what should I do now? You go keep the chariot in the middle of the battlefield. Ratham sthapaya. He goes and does that. Then he asks, I will not fight. What should have Krishna ideally said? It's time now, Arjuna. Everybody has blown their conch, you start fighting. I'm telling you, you start something. He started coolly explaining Atma, Paramatma, Jnana Yogam, Karma Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, Sharanagati, 700 verses. In the middle of the battlefield, when everybody is ready to fight, he is giving a small lecture. So, he is such a cool person. Even in a war, he will make use of the situation and will ensure that whatever he wants, he will tell. So, this is Krishna's attitude. So, Krishna wanted to know that if there is a father in this world who will also share this attitude. Now, when Kamsa is about to kill Devaki, Vasudeva tells, Atma is Nityam, Shariram is Anityam, they are different. Krishna said, he is my father. Pidaram Rochayama Satatha Vasudevam Nripam. He is my father. That is when Kamsa said, you are a very nice man, Vasudeva, I trust in your words. Let the 5 elements, let the 5 elements be the witness. I leave you, both of you go. And he left. They went back to the palace. Then the first child was born.
He said, dutifully he came and said, please take the first child. Kamsa said, first child did not do any harm to me, Vasudeva. You take the child back. Narada. He said, see, now with the joy that you have given life to the first child, they will produce the second. Now, if they keep on producing till 8, the Ashariri Vak said the 8th Garbham, but it did not state whether it is counted from 1. See, if you keep the second child as the first child, then the first child will become the 8th child if you have 8 children. Third child as the first child, and the second child will become the 8th child. Kamsa was very weak in maths. This is number, what should I do? You don't spare that child. Narada said. Immediately he called Vasudeva and killed the first child. And he said, it's now high time that I put you to supervision, CCTV cameras everywhere. And he kept Vasudeva and Devaki in a prison. Look, see, isn't he a fool? He kept both of them together in one. And he kept in 101, 102. Then I would have told Ramayana, not Rama. So, he kept. Now, 6 children were born, but they were killed. Why so? Here comes a major commentary by Vallabhacharya of Pushti Sampradayam. He tells, Shadgunas Tena Buddhya Hata iti Dharmastana Bhutokshara Samagatasyapi Maranamashanka Pariharati Vaishnavamiti Vishnur Vyapakasya Sarvarakshakasya Swarakshayam Sandeho Nasti iti Nyapitam Saptamo Dharmi cha Tadara Bhuta. What a beautiful commentary called Subodhini for Bhagavatam. He tells, you know, the Lord is referred to by the word Bhagavan. Vishnu Puranam tells why. Because there are 6 qualities for the Lord. Jnana Bala, Aishwarya Virya, Shakti Tejas. 2. They are meant for Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Sankarshana. So, the first 2 qualities denoting one Vyuhamurti is denoted by Bha. Second 2 by Ga. Third 2 by Va. Bhagava. The one who has got Buddhi is called Buddhiman. The one who has got Dhana is called Dhanavan. The one who has got Bhagava is called Bhagavan. First interpretation. Remember this. This comes in Vishnu Puranam. We have to learn this in our serious Vedanta classes. Second, Bhagava denotes 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 qualities. That means he is a repository of good qualities. Generally, if we ask about some human being, we will say, he's a very nice man, gem of a man. Ana. So, whenever we speak of human beings, we have good things to say, but we have one flaw or a blemish to also mention about. Whereas the Lord has all good qualities, but sees none of the bad qualities. Andal mentions this in a beautiful phrase, Kurai Undrum Illada Govindan. Not a single flaw. So, he does not have, not is na in Sanskritam. Na means no. He has no bad qualities. Na is no. How do you get na in Sanskritam? You have to reverse the word an, in. If you reverse, you get na. So this an is na, which has, he will have no bad qualities. Bhagava means he has got good qualities. Na means he has no bad qualities. Bhagava plus an becomes Bhagavan. He has got good qualities and has got no bad qualities. So Bhagavan means he has got 6 qualities. So this child who is going to be born as Krishna as the 8th and Balarama as the 7th has to win over the 6 qualities. That is why the first 6 children were born, tells Vallabhacharya, indicating the 6 gunams. Why so? Because these 6 children were cursed by Kalanemi, that they were the sons of a rishi called Marichi. And they were cursed that they will get salvation when they were killed by the hands of Kalanemi, who will be born as Kamsa. So to give them salvation, Narada ensured that these 6 children were killed. The 7th child, when was being carried by as a fetus, this child was taken away from the Garbham of Devaki and sent to the Garbham of Rohini. Rohini is one of the other wives in the big set of wives of Vasudeva. There is one lady called Rohini whose guardian was his close friend Nandagopala and Gokulam. So he had given one room 101 for Rohini. This child went there. Akarshanatve iti Sankarshanaha. So he is called Sankarshana. He was born very, very handsome. Ramaha, Balaramaha. See, why did he choose to be born in Gokulam? Gokulam, people were very, very, very innocent. See, imagine the husband is in the jail, the wife is getting pregnant. In our country, they would have written loads of articles. But why did they not write? They believed that everything that they saw was an act of God and they never questioned. That is why he was stationed there. Now, the 8th child was to be born. That is when first the father and the mother thought about the Lord. This is a great message for us. A child is just not a concoction of physical relationship. It has to do with the wavelength of the parents. Bhagavan api vishvatma bhaktanam abhayankaraha adivevamsha bhagena mana anaka gundubhe sa bibhrat paurusham dhama bhrajamano yatharavihi durasadosi durdarshaha bhutanam sambhabhuvaha. She thought of the Lord. Devaki, mother. Father thought. That is when she conceived the Lord. Vedanta Deshika devotes 60 slokams in his kavyam to describe the state of pregnant Devaki. Shatahlada bandhuraya swakantya sanjati jambudana bindikalpa trayanta yugmera rasayanena kalera bheje kaladhauta lakshmi. He tells that Devaki had turned silver in complexion. How did she get that silver? He gives a chemical formula. He tells that Devaki is fair. Fair complexioned Devaki carried the Lord who is dark complexioned, and the dark complexioned Lord carried the gold complexioned Mahalakshmi in his heart, who has got a red complexioned feet out of Rasankam. Because Mahalakshmi sports Mardani, which gives us the redness to the feet. So she sits in the chest of the Lord. She is golden hued, Hiranya Varnam, Harinim, gold hued. Now gold hued Mahalakshmi with red feet sits in the body of the Lord who is dark. So black plus gold plus silver plus fairness of Devaki. Put together you will get silver. Fairness of Devaki you will get silver. It is Shatahlada. Why is the Lord dark? That's $1 million question. See, generally we ask, father is dark, mother is dark. He has no father and mother. How will he turn dark? So he does not go and sit in the beach to get tan. So he is already there in the ocean, Milky Ocean. So why will he get dark? He's dark. He is not dark. He's dark. In Tamil, the right phrase is you should understand the depth of darkness. Why is he dark? See, why is he dark comes a question. Vedanta Deshika answers this beautifully. Lakshmi netrotpalashvihi sadata parichaya desha sambadhyamanaha nabhinali karinkan madhukara patali datta hasta avalambaha asmakam sampadogan avirala tulasi dhamasan jata bhuma kalindi kantihari kalayatu vamshaha kalima kaitavharehe. It seems the ocean king, who is the father of Mahalakshmi, informed her that you will be marrying Narayana. She has not seen him, no profile photo also. In those days they will say, if you open your eyes, you can't marry. So she had some expectations. Naturally for a girl, she will feel her husband will be driving Harley Davidson. When she sits back, that hair should go like this. So she had some preconceived notion about the Lord. She went and sat on his lap. Because one lap is reserved for the daughter, tells Shastra. One for the wife. That is why in Brahma Vivaham, on one lap only the girl should sit. But if she is getting married at a certain age where the father cannot bear the weight, then he has to offer both his laps. He has to sit on one chair. So on one lap she sat. She looked at the Lord. Now when she looked at the Lord, her large eyes had collyrium, anjana. Kankappu anta heltaralva kannadalli. Katika. Telugulo em cheptaru? Anjano adi Sanskritam. Telugulo? ITEX. ITEX. So ITEX was applied. And she, with large eyes full of eye-tech smile, she sat on the Lord's lap. Now she turned towards him. First sight she's going to see Enna Parvai, Undan Parvai. When she turned, she knew that he's exceeding her expectations. He's much better than what she had expected. Out of that element of surprise, her already large eyes enlarged further. So the black hue which was there in the collyrium got spread, and through Schrodinger's equation of quantum physics, it touched on the Lord head to toe and he turned dark. That mind expanded and the black hue came and fell on him and he turned dark. So this is the reason for his dark hue. So she carried the Lord that way. Shataklada bandhuraya svakantya. But as she used to walk, when she used to carry the Lord, Vedanta Deshika tells, Seshe Shayanam Garudena Yantim Padme Nishannam Adhiratna Pitham Hayanajaihi Ashrada Bandikrityam Swamakritim Swapnadridar Disha Dadarsha. As she used to walk in the cell, jail, she felt as if she was flying on some flight. As she slept on the floor, she felt that the floor was very slippery. Asks Vedanta Deshika why? Because when the Lord was a fetus itself, Garuda became the vehicle and serpent couch Adisesha became the couch for her sleeping place. Seshe Shayanam. What a beautiful imagination. That is when the conch, Panchajanyam, was to be born, because Panchajanyam comes from Samudram. And he came in Chandra Vamsham. So Chandra is the Purohita. So as the moon rose in the sky, it looked as if Chandra was taking a bath in the oceanic waters and was coming as a priest to welcome Krishna. And as he came, the sound of Panchajanya emanated from the waters of the ocean. And on the day of Ashtami Tithi, Ashtami is the Tithi, Rohini is the Nakshatra. Why was he born in Ashtami? Because Ashtami and Rohini, two Tithis, went to the Lord. They started crying. See, sir, whenever people look at the almanac, Panchangam, if they see Ashtami Navami, they close their eyes. Oh, Ashtami Navami, Baba Kinam. So Ashtami and Navami felt very dejected and excommunicated. So they said, sir, please elevate our status. The Lord said, I will be born as Rama on Navami, as Krishna on Ashtami. Don't worry, Ashtami, the moment I am born, that will become the first day called Prathamai. So from that day onwards, you should start counting, he said. So he was born in Ashtami. Rohini Nakshatram, why? For that, Leela Shuka tells one beautiful shlokam. Swati sapatni kilatarakanam mukta phalanam jananiti roshar sarohini neela masuta ratnam kritaspadam gopa vadhu kucheshu. The Lord, moon god, has 27 wives. 27 are the stars. Wives and stars are the stars. Ashwini, Rohini, they were all the wives, all the stars. And Vishaka is a combination of 6 women. See, though it is one wife, he has to keep 6 plates for eating. 6 ladies together make Kritika Nakshatram. Vishaka has 2 stars, 2 women. Vishaka 2, Kritika 6. So they were the wives, but the most favorite wife for moon god was Rohini. For every party he will take only her. The remaining 26 had to stay in the house, grinding dosa batter, grinding for toil. They had to sit and do. So the other 26 could not come out. Rohini was the most favorite wife. For every interview he will take only Rohini. But Rohini got angry. She went and told, you claim that I am your most favorite wife, but you give birth to the precious, blemishless, white pearls when you get in combination with Swati Nakshatram, because we believe that when there is Swati Nakshatram and moon in the sky, pearls are born in the sea. This is a belief. So you give birth to pearls with Swati, but you call me favorite. He said, don't worry. When I get in combination with you one day, I will give birth to a matchless, precious, blue sapphire. Who is Krishna? Indra Neelam is sapphire. Indra Neelamani Sannipapa Ghana Chandra Surya Nayana Prameyava Indra Janaka Sakalesha Shubhana Gendra Shayana Shamana Vairi Sannuta Jagadara Nanda Karaka Indra is sapphire. Annamacharya mentions Kalinguni talala paina kappina pushyaragamu Yeleti Sri Venkatadri Indranilamu Pandajana Nidhilolana Payani Divyaratnamu Baluni Baluterike Padmanavudu Muttugare Yashoda Mungiti Muthyamu Vidu Diddarani Mahimala Devaki Sutudu. So Krishna chose Ashtami Tithi and Rohini Nakshatram. It was the midst of the night. It was pouring. Even the few rays of the moon that could come through or creep in through the clouds were covered by the dark rain-bearing clouds. Krishna Megha Janita Janita Paharam. The dark clouds covered the moon. There was not an iota of space left for the rays of the moon to creep in. It was pouring, torrential, incessant rain. Because of the rains, the waters of Yamuna were flooded. They were breaching their banks. Inside the cell, which had not a single space for light to come in, with a small opening at the top through which food would come, Devaki experienced pain. There was not a single attending lady there. Vasudeva caught her hand. He was praying the child should be born. The child was born. He cut the umbilical cord. Because Shastram tells the father has to recite a mantram and cut the umbilical cord. He cut. But there was no sign of the child's birth because the child was not crying. He did not know where the child was. He was afraid to even walk because since it was dark and the child is also dark, if he stamps the child by mistake, so he was worried. That is when he was wondering, where is the child? That is when she requests, Devaki requests, can you please show me yourself, my dear son, where are you? That is when, with the whiteness that emanated from the 2 rows of 32 teeth of the child, the mother was able to find Dvija, Chandra, Chandrikam, Aikshata, tells Deshika. The blemishless moon were to be broken into 32 pieces, and if they were fit together, it looked as white as the moon. How did the child get 32 teeth? Because he is an extraordinary child. That is when comes the beautiful shlokam of Bhagavatam. Tamadbhutam balakam ambuje kshanam chaturbhujam shankhagadayudharyudam srivatsalakshmam ganashobhikaustubham Pitambaram sandrapayodi saubhagam maharhavaidurya kirita kundala Krishana parishvakta sahasra kundalam udhama kanchi gadakankadadi virvirochamanam vasudeva maikshata. Vasudeva saw tam adbhutam balakam. Adbhutam balakam means extraordinary child. Balakam means child. But in Sanskritam there is a huge problem there. See, if you have to indicate a little child, you have to say Balam, Kararavindena Padaravindam, Mukharavinde Viniveshayantam, Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam, Balam Mukula. Balam means little child. But Shukabhrumam tells Balakam, why? Alparthe Kaf Pratyayaha. If you have to indicate a very, very small object, you have to use the suffix ka. Kanya, little girl. Kanyaka, a very little girl. Kanyaka Danam was in those days. Now it is Kanya Danam. So, Balam, little child. Balakam, very little child. So, Balakam means very little child. He was a premature baby. Second reason, in Sanskritam, Ka is a letter. Dot over Ka is Kam, which is water. 2 dots next to Ka is Kaha, means Brahma. So, in Sanskritam, Kaha means Brahma. Brahma was given birth to the Lord in a lotus. So the boy who gave birth to Kaha, Balaha, Kaha, Yasya Saha, Balakaha. So Balakaha means the one who was given rise to Brahma. So Devaki is the only lady in this world who gave birth to her son as well as her grandson at the same point in time. Tamadbhutam Balakam Ambuja Ikshanam, he has got lotus like this. Chaturbhujam, he has got 4 hands. Shankha Gadha Yudhar Yudam, he has got all the weapons. Srivatsalakshman, he has got a mole called as Srivatsam. His mole is called Srivatsam. And on that Srivatsam, Mahalakshmi has registered her land. So it is called Srivatsam. Srivatsalakshman, but she has to be given some work. See, I used to work in Bombay. In our floor, we had 500 employees, 2 elevators, and each elevator could carry only 6 people in certain weight range. If it is small, it will reduce it to 5. So, and if we are the 7th person, it will start beeping. We will feel so embarrassed. So, 2 elevators, imagine 500 people. The canteen was in the 8th floor. So, there used to be immense commotion. That is when the director of our floor, he came and wanted to find a solution. So many suggested, sir, you buy 2 more lifts. 2 lifts will cost him 40 lakhs. Where will he spend? He said, for 400 rupees, I will buy 1 mirror. And he kept it between the 2 elevators. So what used to happen is people used to wait. So they used to spend time in that mirror. So Mahalakshmi has to be given some work. So she has to look into the mirror. Srivatsalakshmam Gadashobhi Kaustubham. Kaustubham is a mirror. So next to her is the mirror. So she is entertained. Srivatsalakshmam Gadashobhi Kaustubham Pitambaram. He was born with a yellow silk cloth. Pitambaram Sandra Payodi Saubhagam Mahadhavaidurya Kirita Kundala Trisha Parishvakta Sahasra Kundalam Uddhama Kanchi. For the silk not to drop down, he had a kanchi, he had a girdle, Uddiyana. Uddhama Kanchi Gadakankanadibhir Virochamanam. He was able to see the Lord in such a minuscule form with all his ayudams. So he had 4 hands. That is when Devaki requests, Upasamhara Vishwatman Adau Rupam Alaukikam. My brother Kamsa will come and kill you, my dear son. Keep these 2 hands missing. Keep them in hiding position till my brother exists. Till my brother exists. That means the corollary is, once Kamsa is dead, you keep those 2 hands again. That is why after Kamsavadam, Krishna had 4 hands. So what is this new thing you are telling? Even N.T. Ramarao did not have. Nitish Bharadwaj also did not have. What are you telling? See, they have not listened to the lectures, that's a problem. In Bhagavad Gita, the 11th canto is Vishwarupadhyaya, where Krishna shows his cosmic form. That is when he shows many heads, many hands, all the bhutas under him. Arjuna was surprised and he was actually shocked. Few minutes before, this Krishna was talking to him about going to the next movie. And now all of a sudden he has turned into such a form. He said, Krishna, I cannot digest this huge form. You come back in the form in which you were before. Svenaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena. Come with the 4 hands that you were like before. For this Ramanuja comments in Gita Bhashyam, where after Kamsavadam, Krishna had 4 hands. So between Krishna's birth, after his mother requested, till Kamsavadam, he had 2. So Krishna comes and he listens to his mother. Matruvakya Paripalam. See, Shastram tells, Mata Pitrasi Bhuyamsi Karmanyavaravade. Amongst the mother and father, if each of them command, mother's command should be executed first. Amma is very important. So you have to execute her command. Father, if he asks, have you completed the project? The child is not bound to answer. The mother asks, he should. Mother has 100 times more right than the father, tells Shastra. So, in Ramavataram, when he was completing 24 years of age and he was starting 25, he listened to his father's words. Whereas here, Krishna, the moment he was born, he listened to his mother's words. Moment he is born, he listens to his mother's words. At the age of 25, Rama listens to his father's words. That is Pitruvakya Paripalan. This is Matruvakya Paripalan. Now, Acharya has to decide who is better. You may be wondering, why are you trying to downgrade Rama? And next time when I tell Ramayana, you see what Krishna does. This is the healthy competition between the 2. Now, Vasudeva promised in his heart, since this child is born, I would like to donate cows to learned people. But he had no access. That is why when he is released 10 years later, first thing he comes and fulfills that promise. So this child was born. But she was so worried, she wanted to ensure that this child is taken to a safe place. That is when the child tells, put me into Gokulam. So they see one basket, fruit basket which Kamsa gave. She keeps the child in that fruit basket and keeps it on the head of Vasudeva. You know Chhatrapati Shivaji? Not the airport. The king was a great warrior and he was imprisoned by a Mughal king called as Aurangzeb. Now Chhatrapati Shivaji wanted to escape. That is when food used to come in a fruit basket. He sat in the fruit basket and went. People asked how did he get his idea. In his childhood he used to listen to Bhagavatam. Krishna also went in a fruit basket, right? So he got that idea. Else Chhatrapati Shivaji could have not got that idea without listening to Bhagavatam. So the child was taken from Madhura. It's not Mathura. Today we call it Mathura. Madhu in Sanskritam means honey. It is a honey-like city. Madhura. That is Vada Madurai. South is Ten Madurai. Mayanai Manavada Madurai. So Madhura is the place where Krishna was born. Vasudeva takes the child outside. It was pouring. He did not know where to keep the child. Wherever he keeps the child may face pneumonia because of the severe rain. He went outside. It was pouring. Not a single drop fell on his head. He was wondering, how is this pain gone? How am I not getting that water? He looked around. And that is when he looked up. It was a white complexion, 1,000-hooded snake. He got terrified, petrified. I was in Los Angeles in one place, Great Bhagavata's place. They showed me their backyard. I said, such a big backyard, can I go? They said, don't worry, sir, you go. There may be a few rattlesnakes here. So for one snake, we get rattled. But there, it was a 1,000-hooded snake. Vasudeva bent because Adisesha became the umbrella to the Lord. Above Adisesha, the one who was giving protection to Adisesha wondered because all the water had to fall on him. He looked up. Garuda was flying. Garudena yantim padme nishannam adiratna tuitam. Because Adisesha was serving Bhagavan, Bhagavad Kainkaryam. Garuda was serving Bhagavata Adisesha, so that is Bhagavata Kainkaryam. So Bhumi Devi, above Bhumi Devi is standing the father Vasudeva. On the head of Vasudeva is his son Vasudeva Krishna. The umbrella to Vasudeva Krishna is Adisesha. The one who is the umbrella to Adisesha is Garuda. So this is called Bhagavatam sandwich. See what you do in a sandwich, you keep 2 bread pieces, 2 cucumbers and you keep the Purnam inside, middle. So Purnam is Krishna, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnad, he is complete. Above and below is Adisesha and Vasudeva. The bread loaves are Garuda and Bhumi Devi. So this is Bhagavatam sandwich. This is not junk food, it will give you moksha. If you think of this sandwich. So Krishna went. It was pouring. That is when Yamuna, remember this very important. Yamuna went backwards. Water's natural ability is to flow from higher level to lower level. You can extract from lower level to higher level. That is artificial means. But natural, water can flow from higher level to lower level. But naturally here, waters of Yamuna started going backwards. Remember this statement. Why? You will be surprised. In Srimad Ramayanam, Valmiki Ramayanam, there is one state in Yuddha Kanda. Vibhishana comes and advises his brother Ravana, leave Sita. He doesn't heed to the advice of his brother. That is when the other brother Kumbhakarna comes. He tells, why did you wake me up, brother? Ravana tells, it's high time, Kumbhakarna, that you go and fight Rama in the battlefield. He tells, why do I have to fight? Because I have abducted his wife. Why did you abduct his wife? Because I liked her. Now you are asking my opinion, Ravana. You should have asked this opinion of ours before you could abduct Sita. You have made a very wrong decision. But because you are telling me to go and fight, I will go and fight. But winning Rama in the battlefield is just impossible. He can never be won. He's invincible. Ajata Shatru. We can never win over Rama. Like the waters of Yamuna can never go back, is the shlokam in Ramayana. But Kumbhakarna did not know that in the next avataram, when Krishna's grace is there, the waters of Yamuna will also go back. She gave way. That is why she is called the Holy River. Mayanai manvada madurai maidanai tooya peranir yamunai turaivanai. Tooya peranir, Holy Yamuna. What is Holy Yamuna? See, the moment we attach the word holy to Yamuna, then there must be something which is unholy. The unholy is Godavari. Naidu celebrated Godavari Pushkaramulu, and you are telling Godavari is not auspicious. What are you telling? That's how Puranam tells. See, when Rama was living on the banks of Godavari and Sita was abducted, she tells Godavari, Hamsakaran Tavasina Mande, Godavari Nadim, hey Godavari, please inform Rama that I have been abducted. Rama comes and asks Godavari, Godavari, Mata, where is Sita? She keeps quiet. Now you'll be wondering, how rivers will they talk? Rivers had But rivers don't have the ability to talk. But our primitive assumption is communication has to be verbal alone, which is wrong. Communication can be of any form. It can be through eye glances. See, eyes can communicate so much. Right? One. Second, it can be through hands as well. See, some people have Mauna Vrata. They don't have to have. Now, hands can communicate. Eyes can communicate. Even with the monotone, with the sound you can communicate. So, communication can be of various types. If the river had to communicate and be of help to Rama, the Godavari, which flows from west to the east, could have meandered and gone to the south. Rivers have the ability to meander. They can change their course. So she could have hinted by going towards south that Rama, Sita has gone in the southern direction. But she refused to do because she thought if she would complain to Rama about Ravana who might know of this later may come and admonish and punish her later. So out of the fear of Ravana, she refused and even lost the opportunity to serve Rama. So she lost the innate holiness that was in her. But we say Ganges Yamune Chaiva. Godavari Saraswati. Sir, how did Godavari come in the list? Can we take her and replace her with some other river? But she got her holiness back. How? Because in her name Godavari, Goda is the name of Andal. So since she had the name of Andal, she gained back all the glory. Godavari Jagadidam Payasa Punite tells Vedanta Rishika. So Godavari lost the opportunity to serve Rama. Yamuna, her sister, who knew of this, did not want to lose the opportunity to serve Krishna. So she thought, let Kamsa do whatever he wants with me. I will give way for my Krishna, and she gave way. So Godavari, Yamuna gave way, and Krishna went from one part called Madhura to Gokulam. Oruthi maganai pirandu ஓரிரவில் ஒருத்தி மகனாய் ஒளித்து வளர தரிக்கிலானாய்த்தான் தீங்கு நினைந்த கருத்தை பிழைப்பித்து கஞ்சன் வயிற்றினில் நெருப்பென நின்ற நெடுமாலே நெருப்பென நின்ற நெடுமாலே உன்னை அருத்தித்து வந்தோம் பறை தருதியாகில் திருத்தக்க செல்வமும் சேவகமும் யாப்படி ஒருத்தி மகனாய். He is born as the son to one and he grew up as the son to one. In English you can never say like this. You have to say he was born as the son to one and he grew up as the son of the other one. So we use the word other one. What did you eat? I ate this and that. This is the one I ate, that is the one I ate. This one and that one. You have to indicate this one, you can never say this. You cannot repeat. Tamil we say, idu ondru, adu matrondru. This is one, this is the other one. But Andal tells, Krishna was born as the son of one, he grew up as the son of one. She should have said other one. Oruthi maganai pirandu, orirabil, uruthi matruruthi maganai odirthu. Matruruthi should have come. That matru, other should have come. But why she did not use that, the commentator states, she could have used if Krishna had stayed for 2 days with Devaki. The moment he was born, he came here. So he did not give that time for Andal to use that matru. Oruthi maganai pirandu, oruthi maganai odirthu. That matru time he did not give to Andal. It's not her mistake, it's his mistake, tells the commentator. So this child came. Now Vasudeva had to carry the child. Middle of the night it is pouring. He knew he did not have his Waze, GPS, nothing. So he is going to a new place. Take left, take right, take left, take east, take exit, take north. How will he know where to go? That is when Vedanta Deshika tells the deities that used to protect the village called Karupanna Swami. You know Karupanna Swami? They will have one mustache, they will have one big sword. So those Karupanna Swamis were standing at the end of the streets. The moment they saw Vasudeva, they moved their swords to indicate that this is the arrow you have to go. So Vasudeva reached, he saw one beautiful girl born to Yashoda. The child was born at the commencement of Navami because Ashtami was done. Now Navami was born, this child was born. So she is regarded as a sister to the Lord. Bhagini. Varaguru Guhajanani Madashamani Mahishasura Mardini Mandagamani Mangalavara Pradayini Sarasi Janabha Sodari Shankari Pahi Mam Bimbadari Chit Prati Bimbadari Binduna Dava Shankari Shankari Ambuja Ramana Sodari Adari Athirati Ambari Kadambari Neelambari Nilaya Jakshi. She is the sister. If you go to a temple called Tirukkovalur near Viluppuram in Tamil Nadu, that is the only temple where offering prasadam to Krishna, after that they will offer prasadam to the Vishnu Durga next to Garbhagraham. Alvar tells, Vindaimeya Madakkanni Kaval Punda Punkovalur. That is when Krishna tells, bring that child. So he keeps this child. See, this exchange of babies happened even in those, the concept existed in those days. Vasudeva brings the child. Now this girl child starts crying. Kamsa comes, he thinks this is the 8th child, and when he is about to release the child and kill the child escaped from his clutches like how a devotee of the Lord escapes from the clutches of Yamadutas, tells Vedanta Deshika. So the child flew high in the sky with 8 hands. Amba, Shambhavi, Chandramouli, Abala, Aparna, Uma, Parvati, Kali, Haimavati, Shivadrinayani, Katyayani, Bhairavi. So this has been described very beautifully. She had dark complexion with green. She is called Nechakangi or Matangi. Kalidasa describes Manikya Veena Mupalalayantim Madalasam Manjulabadvilasam Mahendra Nirodhyuti Komalangi Madhuva. When they fell out of pain, they had to say Ayo, but they said Krishna at that point in time. The love for Gopastris to Krishna was not taught. It came naturally. They were so surprised to see Krishna. 5 lakh women folk in Gokulam. Not 1 or 2, 5 lakh. Navaratri 5 lakh women folk. So Golu in Gokulam was a grand affair. So here they were all excited. They all went and saw Krishna. Then Nandagopala said, now it's high time. 5 rupee ticket, 10 rupee ticket, VIP darshan, Tomala seva, everything he kept. So Yashoda said, my dear child, you're so beautiful. Every lady that next door, Pankajam, her eyes is not good. She's coming and casting her eyes on you. What do I do? Get that Anjanam. She said she took that collyrium and applied on Krishna's cheeks. But the beauty was she did not know where she had applied. So, now, as a few days went by, the other ladies near the parapet wall, you know that parapet wall, they'll go to the fence and the next day they'll talk in those days. So, the next day, Pankajam came. See, after pregnancy, I put on so much of weight, Yashoda, but you seem to have lost weight. What is the secret? She said, don't ask this child. If I keep him on my chest, he kicks. If I keep him here, he kicks. If I let him down, he crawls. Running behind this child itself, I lost all my weight. Kidakil tottil kidiya udaithidum. Eduthu kollil marungairuthidum. Udukki pulgil udaratte paindidum. Nidukila mayal na medinde nangai. I have lost all weight running behind this child. How do you brush his teeth? Don't ask, there's no teeth as of now, but I'm brushing with my hand. How do you clean his tongue? See, nowadays you get the tongue cleaner, right? Now, how will you clean Krishna's teeth? She asked. Alvar tells. Yashoda used to use turmeric for bathing. The proper turmeric, not the powder, turmeric itself. And over a period of time, continuous usage, it will become a waste turmeric. So she used that to clean his tongue. When she cleaned, she asked him to open, and in that instance, she saw the entire world. Vayyam yelum kandal pillai vayule. Tayige vayalli jagavannu torida jagadodharaka. Nama Udupi Sri Krishna Krishna ni begane paro. This child, he was put to sleep. How was he put to sleep? Periyalvar describes, he got him a new cradle made out of pure gold, studded with gems. And then he put him to sleep. Manikam katti, vairamidai katti, aadi punashida vannachirutil, peni unakku piravan veedu tandamani kuralani talelo, vayyamadandane talelo. Sadhu janadhara Sarva Bhava Madhava Mamava Deva Krishna Madhava Mamava Deva. This child, and he mentioned the word Amma. The mother will be waiting for the child to say that word. And who is the child who's calling her the mother? The one who is the mother of the universe is calling him the mother. Kailedi shirati paluti tala innatapam shidani Yashoda yengum nirai Parabrahman Amma Ventreka Yenatapam Shedani. So fortunate she was. The celestials were jealous of her. look at her, because she used to give him oil bath. See, if you go to north, they will generally apply oil to kids and they will let them in the sun. Now after some time they will give him bath, and they will have to give him bath in neither a cold water nor very hot. They will add little juice of gooseberry, amla, so that when the water falls into the child's mouth, it will taste sweet. So Krishna was applied, smeared with oil, and he was let between the legs. She lifted her gagra and the child was in between the legs. Now the drum was placed next to her. Krishna was sliding because of the oil, and he caught her feet. That is when Alvars cried, "We all go seeking your feet, and you are touching the feet of a lady who doesn't understand the difference between left hand and right hand." இடக்கை வலக்கை ஆச்சாரம் தெரியாத அனாச்சார பிரச்சுரையிடம் நீ கால் பிடித்தாயே. She doesn't know the difference. Even we do not know the difference. See, when I used to go in Chennai, the auto driver will be doing one Agnihotra. Then I gave him 50 rupee note. You know, standard, they will not accept anything below 100. That was benchmark. 100 kudu. So, you will get very good respect also. So, I gave him 100 rupee note. Swami, anga kaila kudu. He is smoking. How does it matter in left hand or right hand? I will ask. But then I understood that both hands mean the same. See, I grew up in Bangalore and Chennai for a few years. Then I went to Pilani. That is when I understood. By eating chapati, sata patala bhishane ataha sodhate, Udakriti Rasamavataram comes into picture. Whether the chapati is in that texture or whether we cannot differentiate between the hands. Now the child caught Yashoda's feet. That is when one day Kamsa sends one of his friends. Look at his friends, Putana. Balaghatini. What was her super specialization? In killing children. Balaghatini. She'll kill only children. That was her super specialization. So she came. Vibudhyatam balagamakikagraham characharatmasya nimiritekshanaha anantam aropya adangamantakam yathoragam sukta budhim rajjudihi sa putana kadachidantarbhida putanatma kamsa prayukta kilakapi magya Nidra paradhina jane nishithe vrajam yashoda kritira vivesha. She came as a very beautiful lady, Putana. In those days, in British period also, there existed a concept called wetness. Mothers believed that if you feed your children with your milk, they will lose their youth. So they used to hire women and they used to feed. They were called wetnesses. Yashoda fed her son, but she was still not satiated out of his hunger. So that is when this lady applied poison over her bosom and she wanted to kill children. That is when Krishna started crying. He did not want other children to die for his sake. So he started crying to such an extent where she traced this house and came. That was the biggest house, Nanda Gopala Nivas. So it was a huge house. You should see the traditional houses in India. They will start in the front yard and it will go bhu bhu bhuvaha suvaha naha satyam. If by the time you go to the backyard, eat and come, you will feel hungry again. It's so long. So, Nanda Gopala had his own family business, Nanda Gopala Dairy Products. The partner was Yashoda. She had to churn and she had to give butter. So she was in the kitchen, which was at the end. So she knew that Putana had come. She made her sit in the living room in a sofa and she said, "I'll give my child and go. I have some butter." "Oh, you please go inside," said Putana. She went to the backyard. She started churning. She wanted the mixing ninja. So she did not hear any noise. Now, Putana kept this child on her lap. She put the bosoms inside his mouth. Now, he was so much hungry that he took the poison first. Looking at his beautiful face, even a lady like her, who's a demoness, she started secreting milk because she attained motherhood at that point in time. So Krishna took the poison. Looking at him, she secreted milk, he took the milk. He took to such an extent, he pulled, that the Jivatma which is there near the Hridaya Kamalam also came along with it. He did not kill her, he pulled. And with that milk, the Jivatma also came. Amnaya gandharvita spurita darostham atsla vilekshana manukshata mandahasam. He was smiling. Gopala Dimbavapusham Kuhana Jananyaha Pranasya Nandanamavaini. Because Shastram tells when the Atma departs from the body, it is the excruciating pain that one will experience. So Trivik Karanam it is called in Sanskrit. When the Atma goes, that time all the five senses have to stop functioning. That is why if you go, Ati Bear! He will not look because his eyes have gone, ears have gone. Now everything will stop malfunctioning. Then all the five senses have to stop. Then the buddhi has to go. Yari go 40 years kalyana. Mami buddhi will also go. Then everything will go and finally the Atma has to get out of the body. It is called Navadwara Pattinam, 9 gateways. It can either come through the ear, mouth, eye, nostrils, or it can even go. That is why certain people will pass urine or feces when they die, because the Atma would have gone that way. So it is a painstaking process, but now all the pain that she has to experience during her death is now coming to her in that 1 second when he pulls. So imagine the intensity. So she cries in pain. For Yashoda, it looks like here it's like transformer bursting. So she's wondering what happened. She goes to the front yard. Her living room is missing. Sofa is missing. There is a huge dead body for 64 miles covering the street. She was surprised. She did not know what had happened all of a sudden. Where is my child? That time Nanda Gopala was coming from work with his briefcase. What happened? Where is our house, living room? This is the huge Putana. This is the lady who came and she said she'll give milk. I don't know, where is my child? They started searching the child. That is when above the dead body, a blue sapphire stone was moving here and there. So they understood, Krishna, so he brought one ladder, he climbed, he took the child. Now there was a big confusion. Street was covered, you can neither go out nor come in. Opposite house was Pichumani. Pichumani! He asked, what can we do now? Pichumani said, you cut the right hand, I will cut the left hand. Rajamani will cut the head. They started chopping. They were never used. They were only used to cutting cheese, butter. Now they were cutting this body. It should have smelled with an obnoxious odor. But Shukabrahman tells, Sugandham iva. It smelled like agarbatti. Why? Because Mangalanam, Mangalamyo, Pavitranam, Pavitramyo, Mangalanam, Scha Mangalam. The Lord, who is a repository for all good fragrances, had touched her. So her entire body became a fragrant body, tells Shukabrahman. So she died with that pain. Now Vedanta Deshika uses his beauty here. He tells, Gopascha Sambhuya Guhopamakshim Svagosha Nirhadita Vishvagosham Gatasu Maikshanta Nishacharintam Bhimakritim Bhaimarathini Vanyam. She cried in pain, right? What was that pain like? He tells beautifully. Nobody can describe as beautifully as you. I can give it to you in writing. Why? See, what do we celebrate when one is cross 60? Sashti, Abdha, Purti. Sashti, Abdha, Purti. If they cross 80, Shatabhishekam, which is equivalent to 1000 Sahasra Kala. You see 1000 full moons. So that is equivalent to approximately 1000 full moons. So you call it Shata because we believe that 80 itself can be approximated to 100. Even 100 80. For 70, what do they celebrate? Oh, Bhimarata Shanti. For anybody who's got basic proficiency in Sanskritam, they will tell Shanti means to perform some pariharam. Bhima Ratha means Bhima's Ratham, which is Bhima's chariot. But if we go by that definition, then Arjuna will come and fight. He will tell, do an Arjuna Ratha Shanti. Then Yudhishthira Ratha Shanti. If you keep on doing Shantis, priest will get rich, but we will not feel so. Now, what to do? Bhima Ratha in Sanskritam does not mean Bhima's Ratham. Bhima Ratha in Sanskritam comes from the root word Bhaimarathi. Bhaimarathi in Sanskritam means the sound that one hears in the dream in the night of the 7th day of the 7th month of the 70th year. 70th year of a person's life. In that the 7th month, in that the 7th night, in that there is a dream, and in that dream they will hear one noise. That is called Bhaimarathi in Sanskrit. That noise is so very terrifying that upon hearing in his dream the person will die. To seek extension, one performs Bhima Ratha Shanti. So that's called Bhima Ratha. Now, when I told this in many places, people stopped sleeping that night. So, Bhima Kritim Bhaimarathi Nivanyam. So she cried with pain. And Putana was killed. That is when Dikshita remarks, Putanadi Samharam Purusho Tamavataram Shitalaraya Viharam Shri Rukmini Daram Cheta Shri Balakrishna Bhajare So this child was there. That is when she offered protection to the child. How will she offer? See, generally mothers, in order to protect their child, they will go to people and they will get darat. You know darat? Magician will give one particular thing. So then there will be a coin. Many will tie it to their poonal. You should see certain people's poonal. It will be like Nadaswaram Srivada. You know Nadaswaram, that blowing instrument, it will have many peepees. And many will have keys. I went to one person's house. He said, sir, I will open the door. I thought he will take the key. He took the poonal. This is a key holder in the poonal. Except the Brahma's knot, Brahma Mudiche, there should be nothing. This magician, that magician, this magician. But Yashoda was a village lady. So she wanted to protect her child. So she went to the close by magician and she got a chain made up of the nails of a tortoise, tiger. It's called Panchayudham. So she tied it to Krishna's neck. This is an act of innocence. The Lord who protects the universe, what will the nails of tortoise do? He came as a tortoise. Ichhamina vihara kachapa. But he accepted that because she gives out of love. That is when, if you go to Srirangam today, Parashara Bhatta tells, when you look at the Lord who's reclining on the serpent couch, don't look directly. Close your eyes, open your eyes, again think of Yashoda, you can still find that Panchayudham in his neck. Because he accepts the innocence of his loving mother Yashoda. He tells, Vakshasthalyam tulasi kamala kaustubhair vaijayanti sarveshatvam kathayati taram rangadham nasya dastam kurma vyagri nakaparimalat panchageti Yashoda nadha maudhya bharanamadikam nasamadhin dinoti. That is when she had a work. I told you she was a partner in her husband's business. So she could not concentrate completely on Krishna. So she put Krishna onto a cradle and kept him outside and children were playing there. Some lagori or some game they were playing. So she left Krishna and she went. Krishna was crying. Always he will cry for milk. So he cried, wheel. Because there was a shakatam with a wheel next to it. So that cart is called shakatam in Sanskritam. So in those days there was a belief. To protect your child from evils, you can either keep a broomstick or a broken cart next to the child. So the evils will, the demons will not come. So she kept one broken cart next to Krishna and she went. Inside this broken cart came a demon called as Utkacha, who was born to Hiranyaksha. So he came inside this cart and he was about to strike Krishna. As the Shakatam came, Krishna was crying with his feet, wheel. And as the child's foot touched the cart went upwards to the sky. These children, they were noticing Lagori. Suddenly the cart is flying. So it broke into 1,000 parts and some fell on the earth, some went missing. Bhattadri asks why some went missing. Because those parts which had the direct association of the Lord's foot got moksha. He tells Bhattadri Narayana. So if at all we go to moksham, In Vaikuntham, we can find certain parts, Shakatam parts. You can find one pot by the Ribhanda there. Pot would have got moksha. So you have to note all this and go there. No, so this child was protected that way. Now when he was kept outside, one tornado came. It comes in your country like Midwest, you get tornado. Likewise, one tornado came. It is called Trinavarta, an asura there too. He took the child out of force. I have heard that even houses fly during tornadoes. No, Krishna flew. But tornado was unable to bear the weight of Krishna. Antarbahishchadat sarvam yapyanarayana sthitaha. He is there inside and outside. He could not bear. Trinavarta left this child and he fell on the stone and looked as if a sapphire was floating. So, Krishna has been described. Next, she teaches Krishna how to clap. The mother teaches how to clap. That is when she tells Kai Kottai Chappani and Kotta Kudarani Chappani. She teaches how to clap. Then the child has to walk. Alvar experiences how the child had to walk. Padaistrivi Kranti Jagatrayam Tam Sambhavaya Balida Balabhavam Karena Sangrihya Karambujagryam Sancharayamasa Shanei Yashoda. Yashoda held the lotus like palms of Krishna and said, keep your foot that way. Yeah. Keep this foot this way, yeah. Go slowly. Now Vedanta Deshika wondered, who is teaching walking to Krishna? Tirunelveli ke? Tirupati ke? So, she is teaching how to walk to Krishna. The one who has measured the worlds as Trivikrama and Vamanavataram, she is teaching how to walk. Sambhavaya Balita Balabhavam. What fortune she had. Devaki cries in the prison, tells Kulashekara Alvar, she cries, I have heard Krishna that when you were a little child you were given curd rice. Sir, you like curd rice. Why do you want Krishna also to have curd rice? Bhagavatam Shukabrahmam tells Krishna had curd rice. Vibhradvenum Jatarapataya Shringavetye Chakakshe Vame Panu Masrila Kabalam. Masrila Kabalam means curd rice. Tatpalam Angulishu. He had urga. On the other. So, Masrila Kabada. And there is an art of making curd rice. The curd rice quality itself, you can tell whether that person is a good cook or not. See, that rice has to be mashed very well. So you can avenge some act with giving curd rice also. But how they traditionally do is, you have to keep rice with water and steam it. Then it will shout 3 times, Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. You have to switch it off. Some people will be very restless. They will pull. That time all the rice will flow and it will get mashed. That is the suitable rice for curd rice. So that will get mashed. Then you will have to add milk, little curd, little butter, and then mash it well, and little sugar if you want, and this is proper curd rice. So Krishna used to be fed with curd rice by Yashoda. Devaki cries, Krishna, when you used to have curd rice, Yashoda used to give curd rice to you, and with one gulp you used to take half of it outside, you used to spit it out. And what Yashoda used to do is, when Krishna used to consume and used to spit a half of it, she used to take that spitted part and put it inside her mouth. Look at how fortunate she was when she had the fortune to see, I gave birth to you, but not a single act of yours I could see. She cries. That is when Krishna started crawling. He had ball of butter in his hand. I don't know what fascination he had for butter. Butter is okay. But I tasted butter, Ovin butter. Ovin. It is not so great. But Vedanta Deshika tells the butter you taste is old butter. You know, butter is called Navanitam. Nava means new, but Navanitam doesn't mean new butter. It means old butter. But what is new butter? Like how we say nascent oxygen in chemistry, fresh oxygen, nascent butter is called Hayyangavinam in Sanskrit. Hartum kumbhe vinihitakaraha swadu Hayyangavinam tells Vedanta Deshika. So he used to have ball of butter. But Krishna was a stout person. He was not a gym-bodied man like Rama. So he will eat anything and everything like us. So he had a ball of butter. He could not stand by himself. He was so bulky. He used to crawl. And the rays of the sun used to melt the ball of butter that he had. And that would flow down his hands. And that would become a slippery floor for him. On the other hand, he used to look at the butter. And now that whatever has reached his hand couldn't reach his mouth. Kai kettinadu, vai kettanadu. So he will start shedding jollu. You know what is jollu? It is not saliva. Jollu is jollu. You have to understand. I cannot find the right word for jollu. So that is where English fails at times. So one, he could not taste the butter. Second, I remember the days of Krishna Jayanti, they will make variety of sweets in the house. Badam cake, this cake, that cake, lishide, tushide. 7 cups, 8 cups, diamonds. But the beauty was, it will smell so good that too when you heat jaggery water called pagal, it will smell very good. But the beauty is we cannot consume. Till they offer to the Lord. In the middle of the night, till they offer, and then in the middle of the night we will have Sridhar inside. So Krishna couldn't have that butter. So he had jullu and he had tears rolling down his cheeks. Yet he crawled, and as he crawled there was a girdle, mekhala. Mekhala means uddiyanam. You know uddiyanam? Mekhala, which is called kanchi. And that uddiyanam, kanchi, mekhala, girdle had little bells attached to it. So as he would crawl, when the butter used to melt, and as the tears used to roll, and as the saliva used to drip, he used to crawl. And this jingling bells sound from the girdle should be heard, tells Annamacharya. Kati ghati ka mekhala khachita mani kantika kati ghati ka mekhala khachita mani kantika padala ninadena vibrajamanam kutila paraghadita sankula sinchite nadam chadula nadana samujala vilasam bhavayani gopalavanam sevitam tapadam chintayam sada bhavayami gopala balam manasevitam tapadam chintayam. This child was called for taking bath. Alvar calls on behalf of Yashoda. The child tells, I will not come to take bath. Rama used to take bath twice or thrice a day. Very, very orthodox. Even if Sita's pallu touches him, he will go take bath. Very, very orthodox. Krishna is like us. Slowly he will take bath. At one point of time in the year, he will take bath. So Yashoda tells, come here Krishna. Please take bath. What Krishna used to do is, he used to apply oil and he used to roll himself on the sands of Yamuna, which were like the silver that were crushed to pieces. So silver pieces and gold powder used to be applied on his dark body. And he used to say, Mother, am I looking good now? Because the black background and silver and gold powder, he looked like resplendence before. So she used to say, Krishna, you look too beautiful. Because even in jewelry shops, they will always adorn gold on a black item. That's why Samudrika Lakshana Shastram tells, fair people should not sport gold jewelry. Rakshana Shastram, there is a shlokam. Only dark people are entitled to wear gold jewelry. I mean, fair and lovely. Black beauty is essential. So Krishna used to look so beautiful. Yashoda tells you, come and take bath Krishna, because if I get you married to the daughter of my brother Kumbha, called as Pinnai, tomorrow she'll become my daughter-in-law, Neela. And she'll say, what a mother-in-law you are. You have not even taught your son how to take bath. Nappinai kaadil shirikum manikame en maniye manjanammada neevarai. At least to say your mother's name, please come and take bath. She calls her son. See how our acharyas have relished. Because Bhagavatam can be told at one stretch. Krishna grew up, Krishna did this, Krishna did that. But how they have showered their love from various quarters of our country determines Krishna Bhakti is at its pinnacle. Krishna Bhakti Prajayate. If there is one thing which is the most superior in the world, that is Krishna Bhakti, tells Shukabrahman. Krishna Bhakti Prajayate. Nammalvar said, Unnum Shorum Parugum Neer Tinnum Vettilayum Yellam Kannan. For Alvar, whether he ate, it was not food, it was Krishna Nama. What he drank was not water, Krishna Nama. What he took in place of betel leaf was not betel leaf, it was Krishna Nama. Unnum Shorum Parugum Neer Tinnum Vettilayum Yellam Kannan. Whether we have that devotion or not is a different question. But we should at least learn how to appreciate what devotion they had. That is more than enough for us as a devotee. So, this devotion is what Shastram tells, and this is what Alvars have said. Tomorrow, we will have the opportunity to listening to Navanita Chauryam to some extent, Ulukala Bandhanam to some extent. Here is where I have to tell the fruit of this Upanyasam, Phalam. Today, we have heard this anecdote of Putana Samharam. What is the Phalam that is offered? See, in Sanskritam, remember this important concept. It is called Tat Kratu Nyayam. This is called Tat Kratu Nyayam. What is Tat Kratu Nyayam? Krishna mentions of this in Bhagavad Gita. If you are a person who performs Bhakti Yogam, at the end of it, at that life, you have to think of the Lord alone to get moksha. In other words, if you don't think of the Lord and you think of somebody else, you will be that somebody else. If I have to give you an example, Jada Bharata is a classic example in Bhagavatam. He was a great karma yogi, jnana yogi, and he was performing penance in the forest. He saw one pregnant doe being chased by a tiger. When the pregnant doe crossed one bank to the other, the pregnant doe delivered the child, and the child fell on a leaf and that went floating. Jadabharata, who was performing penance, noticed this National Geographic channel. He saw that little deer. He took that little deer and thought somebody should protect. He washed. Then he bought one Johnson & Johnson powder. Then he bought one turkey towel. He wiped. He offered food. Like this, his 24-hour dhyanam became 22, 22 became 16, 16 became 10, 10 became 5, 5 became 3, 3 became 2, 2 became 1, 1 became 15 minutes. So his dhyana yogam and bhakti yogam came down. And he was thinking of the deer. While he was of old age and he was on his deathbed, that particular day, this deer whom he had nurtured had gone to the forest. He was worried about the welfare of the deer. He said, "Man, man, man," and he died. So he was born as a deer, tells Bhagavatam. So if you think of something, you will be born. Very tough, this formula is. See, if you are in the hospital, now, you know hospital beds. To get onto the hospital bed, you need 4 ladders. There will be grills. And then, one nurse mommy will come and she will look at us. Hello. Sarva dharma mame amtva sarva papebhyo idella mamameko ingo kuttu ango. Now you will be looking at the nurse or the doctor or nurse. You are thinking of the doctor, Innama Putra, Innama Putra. And your soul departs. What will you be born as? Doctor. So, whatever you think of, you'll be born as that. This is called Tat Kratu Nyayam in Sanskritam, remember. So, this is the Tat Kratu Nyayam. This is the general rule, but there is an exception. We have now witnessed and heard of the little Krishna consuming milk, drinking milk from a mother like Putana. So, what we have heard and witnessed is a child called Krishna drinking milk from Putana. Now, if I am hearing about this incident and at that point in time my Atma passes away, moves from this body, what will be the formula then? As per the Tatkratu Nyayam, I should be born as a child to some other mother and consume the milk. This is the formula. But this alone is an exception, tells Vedanta Deshika, because if you listen or witness or hear Krishna consuming milk from Putana, you will never be born again and you don't have to consume milk from anyone. So this is the only exception to Tatkratu Nyaya. See, basic maths, sin x by x, limit x tends to 0. Those of you who have gone through differentiation, you will know. Sin 0 by 0, sin 0 is 0, 0 by 0 is indeterminate. Math says you cannot use this formula, because if you get indeterminate as an answer, you should take some other method. That is when one great Mahatma called L. Hospital has said, sin x can be differentiated as cos x, x is 1, cos 0 is 1. So even to the general rule of differentiation, there exists an exception. To the general rule of Tatkratu Nyayam, Krishna drinking milk from Putana is the exception, because upon hearing this, we will never have the opportunity to drink milk from anybody else. So this is the fruit. So you don't have punarjanmam, na punarjanmam na babhuva. You will never get punarjanmam when you listen to Putana Samharam and Shakatasura Yuddham, Shakatasura Vadham. We have seen the little pranks in his childhood. Tomorrow we will have Ulukala Bandhanam, and then we will also have Navanita Chauryam, and we will also have Vrindavana Gamanam, Bakasura Vadham, Aghasura Vadham, Vanabhojanam, Vatsapaharanam, Dhenuka and Kaliya Mardanam. By Kaliya Mardanam I should be able to complete tomorrow. It is a very important section. I will give you one question. You have to answer this. Tomorrow you can come with the answer. Water flows in a river. It keeps flowing. Take the rivers, perennial rivers like Ganga, Yamuna. So if I apply one vial of poison to Yamuna waters, will that water be consumed? That water can be consumed like that? Yes or no? Why? Because it is poison. In that case, we should understand the state of a river. River keeps flowing. See, if it's a lake where it is stationed in a certain place, it may be poisonous. That too, if you take one vial of poison and apply to a lake like grapes, 5 lakes, superior, adu kadal. If you apply one vial, what difference will it make? So for a river that is flowing, it wouldn't make any difference. How much of poison I add, it over a period of time, due to the force in the river, it will not matter much. Now, in Bhagavatam, they state, all lecture giving people will state, Kaliya was there in Yamuna water, so the water got poisoned. How come? That is not possible. We have all heard this way, Kaliya was in Yamuna waters. If Yamuna waters is in the river, how can it get poisoned? Even if it is getting poisoned, it is flowing river. It is a perennial river, it comes from the glaciers. So I will answer this question because it is not Yamuna river. I will tell you what is the answer tomorrow. So we need some questioning, right? So we'll think about it and tomorrow we'll come. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. 2 things.